Trump's new homelessness crackdown could reshape how Texas cities handle encampments, whether they want to or not. I'm Charles Blaine, and this is Texas Tomorrow. President Donald Trump just signed a sweeping executive order targeting homelessness in America. The headline says that it's about safety and order, so how is it going to affect your city and cities across Texas? Well, let's break it down. The order directs federal agencies to withhold funding from cities that don't aggressively clear homelessness encampments. We talked about those in a couple shows ago. That means if your city allows camping in parks and underpasses or sidewalks, it could lose federal dollars for housing infrastructure or public safety. It also encourages institutionalizing people dealing with severe mental illness or addiction. In other words, civil enforcement. Even without consent, which some find controversial, but others find it necessary. I think we've all been in a city and we see individuals who truly do need help and truly do need to be institutionalized to some degree, but are not seeking that for themselves. Third, it steers support away from a housing first model and towards an enforcement heavy approach that's focused on removals, lockups, and public order. And many criticize this, but others say that the housing first model has not worked. We have seen cities and they've deteriorated when it comes to this issue. Public spaces have been taken over, and we do see a pursuit of the housing first model that doesn't actually remain sustainable or improve the lives of those who they're intending to fix. Now, take Austin, for instance. A few years ago, the city decriminalized public camping, then reinstated the ban after public pushback. It's been caught up in the court ever since, and voter demands have fluctuated. But under this order, Austin could lose millions of dollars in federal funding if it doesn't show it's aggressively clearing homeless encampments. And in San Antonio, officials rely on federal grants to fund supportive housing, which many cities do. That funding may now be tied to how strictly they enforce camping laws. But the idea here is that even with smaller cities who might feel pressure to start sweeping encampments or doing other things to lose federal dollars, is that if you incentivize it so that these cities are more aggressive about the approach, they may actually take seriously what the public has been demanding, so charter amendments and things like that don't have to be done. Nobody wants tent cities in public parks, but those criticizing it say that a top-down approach doesn't work, while others say the bottom-up approach hasn't worked either. So let's try something new. Many cities have seemingly walked themselves into this trap by ignoring the issue that sat right in front of them all these years. So here's what to watch now. Is your city making sudden policy changes in response to the federal pressure? If so, do you support them? Or do you oppose them? Are shelter beds being expanded or police being used to clean up encampments and taken off the streets in other areas? And will this shift help Texans on the street, or will it just hide them? Because what we know is that the policies that have happened so far in many of our Texas cities, when you have a big sports event or something coming in, it seems as though the homelessness issue just disappears, but then it reappears weeks later. So let's not continue to do what our local officials have done for years and years and years and ignore the problem or only address it when it's convenient. Let's address it permanently. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Texas Tomorrow. Please like, share, comment, and let us know if there's something going on in your neighborhood that you'd like us to talk about.